The dust of ages settles on so many memories, yet some still blaze, sharp and cruel, in the endless twilight of an existence like mine. I remember a queen, a flame in the wind, from a time when this land was but a whisper on unknown maps. Her name was Boudica, and her story is one of fire, of agony, and of a defiance so pure it still stings. I saw her then, you see, not as they first painted her, a barbarian, a footnote to their grand, marching histories. Rome, in its polished, sun-gilded arrogance, always did have a way of diminishing the fires it ignited. They never understood that the brightest blazes are often kindled by the deepest wounds. Her husband, Prasutagus of the Iceni, a gentle soul for a king of those times, he tried to bargain with the inevitable, to shield his people with parchment and appeals to an emperor's distant honor. I watched him draft that will, naming Rome co-heir alongside his daughters. A fragile hope, a whisper against the coming storm. I've seen such hopes before, so many times. They rarely weather the ambitions of men clad in iron, and so it was. When Prasutagus breathed his last, Rome's true face was unveiled. Not partners, but masters. I remember the sound of their greed echoing through Iceni lands. The ring of stolen coin, the crack of the lash. And Boudica, they thought to teach her submission. I saw the wheels rise on her back, but it was the fire in her eyes that burned into my memory. Her daughters. The innocence they shattered that day. The Romans, in their brutal calculus, believed they were quelling a minor tribal queen. Instead, they were birthing a fury. Each strike against her flesh, each violation of her kin, was a nail hammered into the coffin of Roman peace in Britannia. They sought to break her, to extinguish that fierce Iceni spirit. Foolish. Such pressure only hardens some souls into weapons. I felt the shift in her, the transformation from grieving widow to avenging angel. The air itself seemed to crackle around her as she moved among the other tribes. Her words, laced with her own raw pain and an unyielding resolve, found fertile ground in their simmering resentment. The shared anger, it became a torrent, a promise of the blood tide to come. I stood unseen in the torchlit groves where they gathered, felt the thrum of their united rage, and when she rose before them, her voice a clarion call above the murmur of the forest, it was as if the very spirit of the land had found its tongue. "Rise!" she cried, and the word itself seemed to shake the ancient oaks. For your stolen fields, your desecrated groves, your children's stolen future, let your sorrow be your strength, your rage, your sharpest blade. And they rose, a wave of desperate, incandescent fury. Camulodunum, their new Roman city, their symbol of conquest. It was the first to feel her wrath. I watched it burn. The neat Roman streets, the opulent villas, their vainglorious temple to a distant god-emperor, all consumed. It was a terrifying beauty, that cleansing fire. The 9th Legion, marching confidently to restore order, was torn asunder, a lesson etched in blood. Londinium, the bustling heart of Roman commerce, a city built on the island's wealth. It too choked on smoke and its own prosperity. There was no discerning, no quarter given to those who had fattened themselves alongside the conquerors. The message was carried on the wind, on the lips of fleeing survivors. Boudica, she is here, and Verulamium followed. Another pyre. The island was a charnel house, yet even in that maelstrom, I saw flickers of what they fought for, not just against. A warrior pausing to offer water to a captive child. Boudica's fleeting, almost imperceptible nod. Small things, easily lost in the grand, terrible tapestry of war, but they linger. The embers of a future they hoped to build from the ashes. But Rome. Rome is an ancient beast, slow to anger perhaps, but relentless in its retribution. From the misty mountains of Wales, their general, Suetonius Paulinus, marched. I knew his kind, cold, efficient, a master of the brutal arithmetic of war. His legions were not a rabble. They were a single, gleaming, scaled serpent of iron and discipline. The final act was set. I watched them clash. The Britons, a roaring, passionate sea of individual courage against the unyielding, geometric formations of the legions. Oh, the valor of her people. They threw themselves at that wall of shields and steel with a bravery that deserved a kinder fate. Boudica, a flame on her chariot, was everywhere, urging them on, fighting with the spirit of a cornered lioness. For every Roman who fell, for every inch of ground gained, a terrible price was paid. But the machine, the relentless Roman machine, it ground on, indifferent to heart, to fury, to the desperate cries for freedom. It ground them down, the aftermath. I have seen too many such fields. The silence after the screams, the stillness after the frenzy. I saw her amidst the ruin, her great army shattered. The choice before her was stark. A Roman triumph, a cage, humiliation, or an end on her own terms. She held a small vial, I remember. Her eyes, when she, perhaps, caught my unseen gaze or simply looked out upon her lost world, held no surrender. Only that indomitable fire now turned inward, a final unquenchable defiance. They could claim the victory, raise their standards over the smoking ruins. They could write their histories, call her rebel savage. But the echo of her rage, her profound sorrow, her unbreakable will, these things, they don't simply vanish from the world, they become part of its sorrowful song. A song I have heard in countless lands, in countless ages. I am Boudica, she seemed to whisper to the wind, and though my body falls, my fire still burns. Another vibrant flame consumed by the endless turning wheel. And I just remember.